This is Whiskey 4, November, Charlie, Quebec, Malin, and I'm near Asheville, North Carolina.
All right, name is Alan, is that a Roger?
All right, name is Alan, is that a Roger?
Yes, my radio's hanging up here. Okay, it's okay now. This is W4, yes, that's correct, W4NCQ.
Roger, and Alan, A-L-L-E-N, is that a Roger?
Roger, and Alan, A-L-L-E-N, is that a Roger?
It's A-L-A-N. There's, I guess, three ways to spell it. It's A-L-A-N, and I'm actually in Black Mountain. Black Mountain. It's right outside of Asheville, North Carolina, in the mountains.
I got you, Alan, in North Carolina. What radio are you running, sir?
I got you, Alan, in North Carolina. What radio are you running, sir?
This is a Yaesu 3000. I have trouble with the parametric equalizer. It's confusing to me. And amplifier is an ALAN-W4NCQ, about 700 watts to a dipole.
Alrighty, well, why don't you give me about 10 seconds on that antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Okay, for NCQ. I'm using the HILE 781, and the parametric equalizer and the Yaesus confuse me, and I don't know if I'm set up properly. When I monitor my signal, it sounds decent. So I wonder if you found a radio. Over.
Yes, sir. I wound up down in my Georgia SDR. You're about 15 over down in Georgia, and so I'm monitoring you from my Georgia SDR. Your audio EQ sounds pretty good. It's, could use just a little more top end, 2 clicks. That's my standard advice, 2 clicks additional treble EQ. And I think that you said you had a problem with that 3000. Is it a parametric, like 8-band parametric, that you can move the width of each EQ point, Roger?
Move the width of each EQ point, Roger?
It's a 3-band. It's a 3-band, and the problem I have, for example, you asked me to increase my treble by 3. Well, it's not so easy. That means that I have to use the 3rd band, and right now that band is centered on a frequency of 2400. The bandwidth of that band is set as 2, which is next to maximum, and the level is set at 8, an 8 out of 10. So I could increase the level 2 points, and I could move the bandwidth up from 2400 up to I think it goes to about 3500, and I could change the bandwidth. So it's very confusing to me. Over.
Yes, sir, Alan. Well, gosh, you've got the best of both worlds. We want 2.7 on that EQ, 2.7K, and we want to increase the bandwidth to a 4. And then we want to go 2 clicks hotter on your level drive on that EQ than what you have. Plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ, and the EQ is set to 2.7K with a 4 width, Roger?
Set to 2.7K with a 4 width, Roger?
Roger, but this got me messed up. It's at a frequency of 2400. You want to increase that to, I didn't write it down, I think 27. Anyway, you want me to increase that center frequency, and the level on this, the maximum is 10. It goes from 0 to 10. It's at an 8 right now, so we want to increase that all the way up to maximum on 10 for the level. And the bandwidth, it goes backwards. That is, the lower numbers is a higher bandwidth. I'm at a bandwidth of 2 now. You said to move it to 4, I think. That would decrease the bandwidth. The only way I can move it, it's at 2. If I move it to a 1, that'll give me maximum bandwidth. So if you want me to increase the bandwidth, I can go from 2 to 1. That'll increase the bandwidth. I can increase the level from 8 to the maximum 10. And then I'll move the frequency up, and I think you said 2800 or 2700. Is that what you want me to do? Over?
Yes, sir. I want you to make your bandwidth a 1, make your bandwidth a 1, your frequency a 2.7, and your boost all the way up to a 10. 2 clicks from where you are at 10. Roger?
10. 2 clicks from where you are at 10. Roger?
Roger, I've got that written down. It would take me about 2 minutes to do that. I don't think you want me tying up the frequency, or I could do it now. But what I probably should do is try that after the fact. But I've got it all written down. It's 2.8 when we increase it to, and then the bandwidth all the way up to a maximum of 1, and the amplitude will be up to a maximum of 10, and that will give me, I guess, more highs. But I found that you can't count on that, because I've tried simply moving the center frequency or simply changing one of the others, and sometimes it actually reduces my highs when I think I'm increasing them. So I don't know how this thing works, but I have written down exactly what you told me to do, and I'll make those changes after I sign with you, so I don't interfere. This is the W4NCQ.
Roger, Alan. The magic frequency is 2.7K. 2.7. Write that down. That's the hinge point for your top end. 2.7K. Width of 1, full up on your boost to 10. Roger?
Full up on your boost to 10. Roger?
QSL 2.7. I don't know why I was reading it 2.8. It's written as 2.7. So anyway, thank you very much. It always seems when people increase their highs, more often than not, it increases the intelligibility and clarity, and that's what I want. But I don't want to get to a EQ signal that sounds like I'm in DX mode, like I'm shouting and piercing somebody's eardrum, because I rag chew mostly. But I like high intelligibility, and since I've lost some highs in my own hearing, my age is 74 here, almost 75. I do like a signal that has lots of highs, so I'll do what you said, and I think that will help. It'll be a bandwidth of 2.7, and then amplitude of 10, and the other one will be set. The bandwidth will be maximum, which is 1. Thanks a lot.
Right, and we're talking about the width now. We want that wide as we can. Roger?
The width now. We want that wide as we can. Roger?
The bandwidth is on a 2, which is next to maximum. I'll increase that to a 1, as you said. Center frequency 2.7, and then the amplitude is almost maximum. It's an 8. I'll increase that to the maximum 10.
Yes, sir. Now, you realize that normally the width is, the higher the number on the width, the broader your EQ point becomes. So just, they may be a little backwards, but normally the higher the frequency of that width, the more broad that EQ is. So, and that's what we're looking for, the broadness of the shape of the EQ point. Roger?
For the broadness of the shape of the EQ point. Roger?
Yes, that's what I'll do. I've had this rig for several years, and maybe 5 or 6, and it was just maybe 6 months ago that I realized, because somebody told me, that the numbers were backwards, and that I thought when I was going to higher numbers I was getting broader. It's the reverse. Lower numbers are broader, and what you said is correct. It is unique, maybe not unique, but it's an oddity of this rig that low numbers are broader, and when I go from 2 to 1, I'll be going to my maximum bandwidth, and that's what I'll do. Over.
Yes, sir, Alan. And, just out of curiosity, and always I'm curious, if you have your manual, read about that and make sure that your friend was correct. The higher the numbers, the more narrow the bandwidth of that EQ point. Double check that with your owner's manual, or Google that. Google is pretty good at answering 3- and 4-part questions these days. So no major thing, just out of my curiosity. Roger?
No major thing, just out of my curiosity. Roger?
And by the way, I didn't mention, I am running compression. I'm running a small amount, 3%, over.
Number 3, what we usually say is a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Just depends on how your compressor is labeled, but we only need a third of it. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
We only need a third of it. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
I think it's 100. I found that if I get more than 10, I definitely have too much. I mean, no matter how I listen to it, it sounds horrible. And it may be 3%. It's just a little bit. Over.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's perform another check there, if you would, there, Alan. Take that to what is your input on your compressor? Is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 10?
Your input on your compressor, is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 10?
I'm not sure right now, and that presents a problem. I can make those other changes a little bit on the fly, but the compression, I have to the menu item right now. It controls compression and or power level. I've got it set on power level, so I'll have to change it to control the power. Then I'll have to change the compression and then go back to power. That will take longer than we have. But I don't know what the maximum is, but I do know that when I run 10 or higher, I'm distorted, and they just say I'm just blasting it. And when I listen to myself, I know that's not a good check, but in the monitor, it just gets unintelligible, much higher than 15. So I know I can't go in that direction. But if I get it to 0, it doesn't quite have the sharpness that it seems to have at 3. So it might be around 3%, not sure. Over.
Yes, sir, Alan. Well, the thing is, you're at 3 dB dynamic range now, so we don't need to mess with that compressor. Whatever it is, it's just perfect. You're ballistically 3 dB, which means that your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere around 80 to 85%, so you're nice and intelligible. If you keep forcing it past that with more compression, you become blurry, and you defeat your purpose. So right exactly where you are now, I would just leave it right there. Get the duct tape out and taper down.
Leave it right there. Get the duct tape out and taper down.
Okay, hang on just a moment. I messed something up here.
No, Alan, no. Get the duct tape out. Don't do anything.
No, get the duct tape out. Don't do anything.
Okay, I've changed one thing. The 3 things you told me to change, I've changed to 2700, 2.7. And the others are just as they were. Over.
Yes, sir. 2.7 is beautiful. Then a 1 on your width, and you're maxed out on your push. Roger.
Then a 1 on your width, and you're maxed out on your push. Roger.
I'm almost there. Hang on. Can I get one?
Yes, stand by just a moment.
Okay, that's the one. I got one more to change.
Stand by just a moment.
Okay, Alan, go ahead, please.
Okay, it's now at 2.710. I've changed it from where it was, from 1 to 2.7. And 10, I have not touched the compression. Do you notice any difference?
No, just run it just like that. Don't do anything extra. Just taper down exactly the way it is right now. Roger?
Extra. Just taper down exactly the way it is right now. Roger?
Okay, I've done exactly the changes you asked me to do, and no more. Did you notice an improvement? Do I have more highs?
Yes, sir, you do. Your intelligibility is by leaps and bounds. And if you want to hear it, go to YouTube and do a call to search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
To this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Okay, I'll get out of here. Thank you very much. And I assume that this is a 781 mic, and it's noted for having too many lows. I've got those rolled off big time, and that's okay. And so I'm all right now, according to your measurements.
Yes, sir. You're a little, not much in the bottom end, not heavy in the bottom end, but you're very intelligible. And in my book, I'd rather be intelligible than because there's a lot that can happen to you on that baseline. If you're real full in the bottom end, and then Mother Nature decides to phase cancel your top end, you're left as Mr. Mumbles, because it just takes the top end right out and it leaves the bottom end, because it cancels from the top to the bottom in the audio spectrum. Mother Nature cancels from the top to the bottom. So the first thing that goes is all your top end, and if you have a heavy bottom end, it's just Mr. Mumbles. So I think where you are right now is just ideal, Roger.
Mumbles. So I think where you are right now is just ideal, Roger.
All right, thank you. I went against your instructions. I decreased my bottom end. It was a -8, and now it's only a -6. So there should be more lows, maybe not much more, over.
Just beautiful. Don't mess with it. You got it going on right now. Just perfect as it is, Roger.
Going on right now. Just perfect as it is, Roger.
Okay, well, this last change was okay then when I increased my lows, like you said, I needed maybe a little more bottom end, and not needed, but might be better with some. So I did increase it from, it was a -8, now it's a -6 on the bottom end, which is centered around. I'm hogging the frequency. I think you've made some good changes. I can't wait to hear myself on your recording. This is W4NCQ, I'll be clear.
Roger, Alan. Well, I finally made it back to my local antenna. You sound beautiful. Sound beautiful there. And we're good down to 100 cycles, so you're just beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing. Get the duct tape out, tape her down. 73 there, and we'll catch you later. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and gosh, we did have another station in there. Other station, are you still there?
Did have another station in there. Other station, are you still there?